everybody, it's Jeff Hopper back with Doug Wicks. We're talking about a mission in life. We are quite a ways into our series, and one of the things we keep hinting at is the need to build relationships, and how powerful and important that is. You hardly have to explain that to golfers. Golf is such a social sport.
That's right. Yeah, it's a big, well, it starts with the relationship literally on the first tee.
It does.
You know, shaking somebody's hand and find out where they're from, which is unusual. It's for other situations. You're not required to do that, but in golf, it's a beautiful way to start a relationship.
It is.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I was in a conversation recently with, I think, some guys in the Links Fellowship, and we were talking about what are some ways that you break into conversation with people on the golf course. And I know for me, one of my first questions always is, how often do you play?
Okay.
And that can lead to, all kinds of things. You have to start when you're talking with golfers with golf.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to start?
Yeah, exactly. So it gets them talking.
Yeah.
Do you have questions that you've used that have sparked a good conversation?
Yeah, well, I try to find something about them. Sometimes their bag gives them away.
Oh, yeah.
Or a head cover.
Sure.
I've got a duck on my driver.
This is in Oregon, man.
Okay, yeah. So so I look to see if there's anything that will give me a clue of what they're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And talk about some of those things.
Absolutely.
I just thought of this. It's one of my favorite golf rounds of all time was with you. And Doug and I have played golf together like twice.
Yeah.
But the first time he was visiting me in my hometown, and we played, and I just remember that was one of the few rounds in my life. I grew up playing competitively. So, and I played in college, and it's hard for me not to, I don't play competitively now, but I still play seriously. And I'm focused on golf. That was one of the few rounds where I went away saying, boy, I spent the whole day engaged in conversation and didn't care that much about the golf. And I know that's actually the way a lot of people play.
Right. Yeah.
It's the relationship side.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I remember playing a round of golf with Scott Simpson. And, Scott Simpson's a pretty quiet guy.
He is a quiet guy.
U.S. Open champion and a fine Christian man, just a great guy. And what struck me about his round was that he shot the smoothest 68 that I'd ever seen, and he did not stop talking, but not about golf. He was talking about his kids, he was talking about ministry, he was talking about just nonstop talk, but he managed to, to move his ball around, and, it was a great round of golf.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming of the day when I shoot a smooth 68.
Yeah.
Then I'll have something to talk about.
Yeah, well, and you probably will forget it.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. Jesus said one of the strangest things. And you and I, we have a lot of Bible background, and we still look at this passage and say, this is so strange.
Scratching my head.
Exactly. He said, I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you will be welcomed into eternal dwellings. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I think one of the things it means is, don't be afraid of using methods on this earth for eternal endeavors.
That's right. And one of the greatest joys I had when we were in Africa was playing golf in Africa. And I encourage you, if you ever go to Africa, to go play golf in Africa. But don't go to like a resort course. Go to the golf course that's closest to the center of the capital city, because then you will get a really rich perspective, and golf becomes the equalizer. There's one round that I had when I was there where I got to play golf with an MP, which is basically a congressman, minister of parliament, a young man who was orphaned in the war in the north, who had grown up in the caddy system and didn't have, barely 2 quarters to rub together, and another missionary, and a businessman, and myself. But golf was the equalizer. at that point. And it was a beautiful thing to see how God could bring together this group of people. And, you know, we became friends as a result of that.
Yeah.
And it was really beautiful to see this young orphan man to be welcomed into this group where there's a minister of parliament and a wealthy businessman playing, and they welcomed him in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Can we take a minute to address something that I hear from time to time? And that is that Christians only want friendship so that they can give you the goods. They can preach at you. Is that true? Does that have to be true? Or can we have true friendships that then flourish into this greater conversation?
Yeah, well, I think that all of us maybe are tempted to do that. You know, like, hey, I need to get to know them because, you know, they need the gospel. Well, that's true. But hopefully the relationship goes much deeper than that over time, and you know, we need to obviously care for the people that we relate to, and you know, that's on your own conscience, I think, and you know, hopefully God can work in that. But I think that's not a bad motivation,
Right.
you know. But hopefully that's not the end. My goodness,
No.
that would be horrible, right?
Right. If you
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
drop
that's-
the bomb and
yeah,
left.
and then go, and I don't really care about that because I've done my duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to keep this relationship developing
Yeah.
up to the time I share and
That's right.
beyond the time I
And
share.
Paul, the Apostle Paul, was so faithful in that. I mean, he would stay for years in places to make sure that everybody, that he built a relationship with people, and he was faithful to give them what they needed. So it's both.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah.
And thanks to you for being with us. We'll see you next time.